I just happened to be at a family party, and I'm with one of my first cousins, and this is Leo Sullivan, and he's a surgeon. So I think it's very important that we get his perspective regarding healthcare. Now, Leo, what do you think about the whole Obamacare law? Do you think it's going to help us? It's going to hurt us? What, it's great to hear from the doctor. What are the cons and pros?
I think the pros are many people that have absolutely no health care today will get some form of health care. I don't think they're going to get the quality of health care that they think they're going to get. Furthermore, it's really going to be a bureaucratic nightmare to negotiate people through the trails to get them adequate health care and get them to the appropriate personnel expeditiously.
Now, what about the average guy, the guy who has employer-based insurance, and it's relatively good and he was happy with it? How do you think his insurance might change or might not change?
I think there's going to be a significant increase in bureaucracy. Already people have to use electronic medical record, and already it's extremely time consuming. And obviously it takes a lot more time to see one patient. You're going to see less patients per day. Once you start seeing less patients per day, people are going to have to wait a lot longer to see their doctor. That's definitely going to be a negative.
Now, I mean, they're calling it a Healthcare Act, and meanwhile they've hired 16,000 IRS agents. And I have no idea what the IRS has to do with healthcare and college loans. They also lumped college loans into this bill as well. So I don't know how that works its way into healthcare. But do you think overall that this is going to bring down our quality of healthcare in a large sort of fashion? Like, will our degree of quality really start to drop now because we're trying to really spread thin, it seems? And I hear a lot of doctors are actually, going out of business because they say they can barely get paid by Medicare and Medicaid as it is, and in some cases it doesn't even cover the work he's doing.
I don't know the statistics, but I would venture to guess the majority of physicians do not participate in Medicaid. I personally do, but there are many, many physicians who actively or passively don't participate in Medicaid at this time. And what's quite frightening is in major urban centers there's an increased number of physicians who won't participate in Medicare. And once we have enough physicians who don't participate in Medicare, it's going to be very difficult for patients with complex medical problems to get the appropriate care. There just won't be people to see them.
Is there something that they didn't include in the bill that you really wanted to see happen? Like, if it was up to you and you were the president and you could have rewrote this bill, what would be the first thing you would do in your healthcare bill?
I think that if you ask any physician, they would put some type of tort reform in any kind of bill. It's easy enough to say, all right, this doctor has a nice life, let's cut his salary, 10, 20%, whatever you want to do. But at some point, there has to be a limit, and I don't understand why they don't put a limit on tort reform. Other states such as Texas and California do have limits, and
they also have the loser pay mechanism, which is great because you better very well have your case solid.
As far as I know, loser pay I know is in Canada. I'm not
in Texas. It is as well.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, Texas as well. Now, what about the competition between insurance companies? I mean, do you think that should be nationwide instead of limiting it from one state to the next? I mean, shouldn't everybody be able to participate? As far as competitive-wise, doesn't that help drive the price down?
Yeah, that's an extraordinarily complex problem. Some insurance companies, for a variety of reasons, don't want to be in every state.
And that's fine. Yeah. And that's fine. But why should we limit others that want to be?
Yeah, this bill is about 2,700 pages long, and like many people, I really can't comment on that because I haven't read all 2,700 pages, and most people have quite a bit of trepidation as to when the dust settles how this is really going to affect it.
Do you have any connection with like the young up-and-coming doctors? Do they show any concern, like some of your residents, interns?
I think the biggest concern that most medical students and residents have nowadays is that they have massive student loans. It's not unusual for somebody to have well over $250,000 student loans. They're going to be paying interest on this for many years. It's going to take a very long time to pay off their student loans. And it's not an unheard of thing for someone to have $300,000-$400,000 in student loans the day they finish their residency. When you add interest on top of that, that person may wind up paying $400,000 to $600,000 to pay off their student loans. And we have a severe shortage of primary care physicians. And primary care physicians are not the people who get paid the most money. So if the government wants to have more primary care physicians, they're going to have to find some way to help those young doctors pay off their loans. Otherwise, they're not going to go into primary care. And that is a severe and significant problem that they just don't want to address.
Now, last question, I don't want to hold you up. How would you feel about dealing with the patient one-on-one without any insurance company? Like, what if the patient actually had the ability to kind of strike a deal with you? You know, sort of, you know, like we did 50 years ago.
Well, no, there are, like, for example, plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery is not covered by insurance for the most part, and most people pay cash for what they have done.
And a lot of the times they do have payment plans that they work out.
That's correct.
Now, do you maybe foresee like some kind of vehicle that might be set up whereby that could be maybe not common, but at least another option? Instead of mandating everyone has to have, you know, medical insurance.
I really couldn't comment on that. You're asking a very complex question beyond the scope of this interview.
Okay. And would you be in favor of repealing Obamacare if Romney gets in office?
The way it's been presented to physicians, it's certainly not something that physicians are looking forward to.
So you'd be for it?
Again, it's a 2,700-page document that we have to look at in the details and see how it plays out. But most physicians are very unhappy. The federal government feels there'll be a shortage of roughly 90,000 physicians by the year 2020. And
is that a fact?
Yes.
That's the first time I heard that.
And
the shortage of 90,000 physicians by 2020. Staggering.
So by that number's going to be a whole lot worse if physicians retire early because of Obamacare. It can make this problem a whole lot worse.
Also coupled with the fact that the baby boomers now are all going to be coming into Medicare, which just got ripped out $500 billion out of it.
That's correct.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Good luck.
Leo, thanks guys.
Okay.
Blue Collar Corner.